Okay, what's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Today we have a very special guest on the show.
We have Energized's first ever guest, the one, the only, Christopher Cadwell. Welcome back on the show, bro.
Cheers. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah.
5-year return.
Yeah, that's it. Episode 1 to episode, what's this?
234, I think.
Yeah, catching up on Joe Rogan.
Catching up on Joe Rogan is right. But yeah, as Ross mentioned there, like Chris was actually our very first guest on the show all them years ago on Today FM. Times have changed, man. Times have changed.
They have.
But I'm just going to put it out there. We actually recorded this yesterday, and it didn't convert properly. And we're like, oh my God, Chris, you need to come back on the show. But first world problems, Chris, you're back. Thanks a million, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Chris, like you're like very well known around the Clontarf area for everything you do with health and fitness. And like for people that don't know you, can you tell us how you got into health and fitness?
So I'm working as a personal trainer about 10 years now, but I suppose the journey started with my own kind of fitness transformation. I always played sport and stuff like that, and then rugby was probably my main one. I was always kind of told you need to be bigger, etc., to make it into seniors. Wasn't really told what to eat or when to eat it, so I would just eat it, whatever I wanted, like just try and get as big as possible. And then I think I topped out around 25 and a half stone, about 100, close to 160 kilos, and kind of knew I'd gone too far and needed to change. So a few of my mates were training like with a personal trainer, so I went and got the help of a personal trainer.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting. What was the moment when you were like, here, I need to change this?
So I think at my 21st, I think I got flights to America, and I went off and I was over there, and obviously I was like buying clothes and stuff, and I went to pick out a shirt, and it was like 3XL or something, and I was like, hang on a minute, like this is 4XL if it was in Europe. So it just dawned on me then how big I'd got, sort of thing, like because I would have a big frame, so I obviously carried it well, and like I didn't think I was that big, but obviously I was. So straight then and there I kind of said, like, right, I'm going to buy everything too small so that I have to get back into it when I go home, and then got the help of a personal trainer. Kind of things moved on from there, and that's how it got started. But then I finished college then, and then went back to college to do health and fitness after my business degree, because I didn't want to work in that industry. Got an internship, and then from there I've been working 10 years now.
Yeah, when you got into it, like, I mean, like, for people who don't know, that story is unbelievable, and obviously being very good mates with Ross and yourself, seeing the whole transformation is unbelievable. Like, I know you put out pictures sometimes, and you've gone from where you said like 3XL to like having a 6-pack. Like, is that like a thing that drives you every time to go, like, to help people to, like, obviously not everyone's going to be that heavy, but like you've literally gone the whole scale, so you know you can help people. Is that something that drives you?
Yeah, like that's the reason I do it. Like, the reason I picked that job is like I love my job. So like I love when someone gets in contact with me and goes, look, I've tried everything, it's not working. I know you've been through it, so I think maybe you'll have a better perspective. And I end up getting quite a few like referrals and clients of that, like, that are quite big, and they're like, I want to go to someone who's been through it all. Like, so kind of, you name it, I've been there. I've been in every situation, and got through it, obviously.
Yeah, Ross, obviously as Chris's brother, what have you made over his transformation over the last 10 years, seeing it firsthand?
It was actually quite crazy, because obviously he started going to the gym quite a bit, and he was losing weight, and I sort of expected it to be like anyone who goes to the gym for a bit. They go, lose a bit of weight, and then go, geez, look right, and then stop going to the gym. But like, he sort of just kept on going and going and going. And I was like, fucking hell, I was like, he's doing really, really well. You know what I mean? Because it was like, he was sort of down to like 120 kilos. And I was like, oh, well, like, that's the way of like an international prop. You know what I mean? Like, an international level. And then like, drop further. And then he was like, I'm going to get abs. And like, I probably laughed at him at the time when he was like, I'm going to get abs. Because like, I'd see him at his heaviest, and I was like, no way. And then like, he eventually got abs. And then like, not only did he get down to sort of, you know, low 90s, then he I think he almost hit 89 kilos at one stage. Then he went back up to 105 kilos and like was absolutely jacked. So I was sitting there going, Jesus Christ, like this fella's like, he's an inspiration, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a sort of a transformation that you would see on, like the Ellen DeGeneres show, or like Oprah or Davina McCall would bring you out at the end of the year and go, this is your life, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a TV show, really, you know what I mean? It's that crazy of a transformation.
Yes, they should almost get you on that Operation Transformation. What's the one on RT?
I think that is the one.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
because like, I mean, like everyone knows, like I remember you being in school and obviously you're heavy, and then seeing what you've done now, but like even your mindset has changed. What was like the main thing that you've done over the last few years, like over the last 5, if not 10 years, that's made you be so driven? Because like some people are just like aspire to guess they go back to the gym in January and they want to have a 6-pack for Marbs in August or something, but like what's just kept you going?
Yeah, so like the way I coach it is like, I don't like, if someone comes into me and they're like, I want to lose X amount of weight or etc., like the first thing I do in the consultation is say like, right, we don't really want to work off weight, like that's one kind of attribute it, but like try and aim them more towards fat loss. But sometimes you don't have that. Sometimes you have people for performance and stuff like that as well. But I always just say, look, this is a lifestyle change. It's taking you longer than 6 weeks to get to where you are now. So it's going to take longer than 6 weeks to get you to where you want to be. But if you embrace that, it's going to be a lifestyle change, and we work on getting good habits in, they then become routine. Routine then just becomes lifestyle and second nature. So you don't need to worry about it. So like, that's why I say to everyone is like, oh, you're really regiment with your diet. And I was like, I'm not really on a diet. I just know how to eat around what I want to do or what phase I'm in, sort of thing. Like, and I'm just always reading and studying on it. And then I'm always trialing things on myself before I'd ever try them with someone else. So, because obviously there's not a one size fits all.
Yeah. You're obviously very committed to everything you do as well. Even the way all your posts on social media and stuff, the way you make food, you put out recipes, everything, like it's really cool to see. And you even take them very well. I've seen your first hand stand in the chair and take a photo. It's great. The hustle. Me and Ross respect the hustle. But like for people listening now, like you have a lot of people that are like really invested into your life, as in like you've changed so many people's lives. Like, I mean, me and Ross are going, we're so dedicated. I know we're taking the foot off the gas, but it's like I'd never seen someone that was so committed. I know you didn't like treat us like brothers. You treated us like as clients, but like, and you gave us the best service as well. But for people that are tuning in now, like you train with like the likes of Keane Healy, like professional Irish rugby player, and you also like train like women doing their like you can train anyone. Yeah,
well that's why I think you have to adapt. Like, so basically, like you need to be like a chameleon nearly. Like, so whoever comes in the door, you have to find a connection with that person and see what drives them. Like, find out why they're here. Like what's driving them, and then from there, how am I going to find a way of getting my point across that they'll understand? So you have to be able to relate to everybody. So I think like the longer you're in it, the more you can kind of read personality types and then do a little bit more studying into it as well. Because even like, say with yourselves, like with you, Barry, I might have to give you a pat on the back. That'll drive you. With Ross, I need to shout at him to say, get off your arse. Like, there's different personality types. So even though you were training together, you had slightly different goals. Like Ross wanted to drop a little bit. You wanted to put muscle on. We can design the program.
I wanted to get bigger than Ross, and Ross wanted to get smaller than me.
Yeah, we want to meet for a catchweight fight.
Yeah, catchweight fight.
The middleweight.
Yeah. Okay. But I suppose that's something that you just touched on there, that what's called is sort of interesting in all facets of life, not just training. That just because you say something to someone doesn't mean they interpret the way you meant it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that must be something that's quite hard to get across. Because I've been told that once or twice before, and it's sort of always stuck with me. Just because you say something to someone doesn't mean they understand it exactly the way you mean it.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Like, so it's you have the knowledge and the information, but if you can't get it across to that person, if it's just going in one ear and out the other, you may as well not have told them that nugget. Whereas, say, with anything, it could be nutrition, recovery, anything. If you say, like, if you stretch more and loosen out your hips, you'll actually be better performance at your tennis or your golf or whatever like that, or it'll take the pressure off your back. Once you put it back to their sport or whatever they're into and tell them they'll actually be better at it, then they'll buy in, and from there it'll spiral into all the other stuff.
I suppose it's a bit like teach a man to fish and leave for life, give a man a fish and a leave for a day sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And like I always say, start small. Like, so what everyone does, like what you said, everyone goes gung ho. Okay, I've got isolation. I'm gonna run every day for 10 days, but then you hate running and you give it up. Whereas if you just did like a little bit, like even walk and then do a run the odd day or a little home workout, whatever it is, little by little, a little becomes a lot. So it all adds up, and then that's more sustainable. What you need to do is find kind of a lifestyle and a routine that's sustainable long term, and that way when you're consistent you're going to see the results.
Yeah. Also, like, I mean, anytime people ask us or on their Instagram stories looking for a coach, like myself and I've noticed Ross would also message the same person saying your name, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But like, there's obviously a lot of coaches look up to you as well. Like, that's without a doubt. But what do you think makes you a really good coach, and what makes you really stand out?
Well, I think you just have to be passionate about what you do. So, like, you'll see me post all the time. Like, you have to walk the walk. Like, so it's not like you don't want someone telling you to do one thing and they do the opposite. Like, so everyone kind of knows. Like, I'm into it. Like, I post up my food. Like, it's the same stuff all the time. It's just routine for me now. Like, and everything else like that. Like, same with the training. I do the training. If I post up a workout, it's going to be a video of me sweating doing it. Like, so I'll do it first so I know how hard it is. So I'll always do that. Like, like you don't know what might seem easy for me could be really hard for someone else. So even like that push-up challenge that went on there at the weekend, like I think there was 10 of us that maybe did it in under 90 minutes. But like, it was funny. The lad who was running it was like, ignore the robots that are just used to doing push-ups all day. There's a lot of like, say your average Joe doing this as well that just beat the buzzer and got it done by like 10, 11 o'clock. And like, well done to all those lads. Like they're lads that don't go to the gym, don't train, but they put themselves through that. I'd say they're still suffering today. Yeah. But it was a great cause. They did that for Pieta House as well and the Irish Cancer Society. And I just saw this morning that it hit 50,000. So they're getting 25,000 each.
Unbelievable. Ross, just before we get into, like, I know Chris just touched on one of the main reasons why he's on the show is if his story wasn't good enough. Like, from an outsider, obviously, brother, but what do you think makes Chris such a good coach as well? Because he can't, you know, Chris, he doesn't hype up himself.
Look, to be honest, a bit like what he said there, Chris, like, he makes sure he does every single program before he actually gives it to someone. He's so good at like tweaking a program. If you have like a slight injury here or like, I mean, you're sore or whatever, he'll slightly change something for you. He's always on hand. You know what I mean? He's always great for a piece of advice. He's only ever a text away. And then just like the intensity of training with them is unmatched. Like, I've trained with other personal trainers, and I've never been in good shape when I was training with Chris. And people actually always used to ask me, and what's called like, do you get training for free off your brother? And like, we actually used to pay to go train with Chris because we were like, we want the full shebang service. You know what I mean? There was no messing about it. You know what I mean? And it was just like the level of dedication that he shows is almost passed on to you when you train with him. And I think that's the main thing. Really, it's the mindset that you get when you get pushed along there.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Russ, touching on that. Why do you think you were in the best shape trainer with Chris rather than anyone else?
I think he got me to really buy into the lifestyle, and I felt like he was so invested in my development, and I felt like other trainers were training were like, thanks for the money, go do 10 squats over there, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? As opposed to like each week's like, he'd make you so accountable for like to be body fat tests, and like, because it was body fat tests, you'd be like, right, I have to go down this week or whatever. Or sometimes, you know what I mean, he'd be good to you, like, your body fat might have not gone down, we lifted 20 kilos more this week than you did 2 weeks ago. So that's a big improvement there. Find the improvements. I'd be like, right, well, maybe your sleep's not great, so maybe you need to sleep a bit more. And like, that was an issue with me because like I was a bit of a night owl.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, loads of people like use weight or like as their only marker, but like you could, like, even like he said there, if you progressively overload, like you're lifting 2 kilos extra a week, it adds up over the weeks. Or you do a little fitness test. I did it 2 minutes faster. Oh, I did my 5K a minute faster. I had to get a new belt because like there's no holes left on it. It was too big. The jeans fit that like from my last birthday that I haven't worn in a year, all my summer clothes. Like, just pick something that like will drive you as a marker, and then use that as your goal to get to there.
Yeah, Chris. Okay, before we get into Pieta House and that you're about to do 100,000 steps for charity. First of all, why are you doing this for Pieta House? Like, obviously, there's a lot of focus on mental health these days. Like obviously, you went from, as we said earlier, like a very heavy prop to a man with a six pack that doesn't like to gloat. Like, did you go through any mental health problems before this?
Well, like I think like everyone at some point in their life has touched on it, whether it was personally or with friends or family. They've all kind of gone through it. The reason I chose Pieta House, obviously, is Darkness into Light was meant to be next weekend. It's been postponed. It might not run now, depending on how the phases of this COVID go. But that's a massive fundraiser for them. They earn about 5 million a year from Darkness into Light. So with that cancelled, like the much needed funds, and even though it was postponed, like the service they provide can't be postponed. At the moment, people are like a little bit lonelier. Everyone's self-isolating. You're stuck at home with your thoughts. So those phone lines are even more important now, more than ever, with the amount of isolation that's going on.
Yeah. Then, so you're doing the 100,000 steps this Saturday. So we'll make sure. Yeah. So like, are you looking forward to it? Like this is going to be a huge deal.
I actually am, yeah. Like, so there's actually 4 of us involved now. So Paul O'Connor, he's the golf pro at the island. He got on to me literally the minute I posted it. He's like, I'm doing it as well. One of the girls who trains in the Edge, Elaine Mongan, and then another girl from Clontarf, Isabel Lenehan, she's doing it as well. So we're actually doing 400,000 steps for Pieta House on Saturday the 9th. Yeah, no, I'm actually looking forward to it. And I was saying to Ross yesterday, I worked it out that it's going to be about 80 kilometres on the day. So he knows how competitive I am. I kind of said to him already, I'm going to do 84.4k. So that's a double marathon on the day.
That's absolutely incredible. Obviously, this is a story that some people have seen on sort of my personal social, that I did 50,000 steps last week. And I had blisters on my feet to prove it. But it was one of those things where I actually did that to one up Chris at the time. He'd done 50,500 steps, so then I did like 50,700 steps like 2 days later. He did it on Sunday. I think I did it on Tuesday. But on the Tuesday, Chris was like, I'm going to do 100,000 steps. And I was like, you actually ruined my self-esteem. It was such a moment. But then I think I had one fitness towards you, and then like I was actually just so proud of you, because I'd done 26,000 steps at that stage, and I was like, this is the most I've ever done on a day. And then I was like, I have to do this again. Like I'm only halfway there, and then I was like, Chris gonna have to do this another 3 times on top of that. I'm like, it's a lot. I ended up doing 40k, 50,000 steps, and it took a lot. So like, fair play to you. It's gonna take you a good few hours to get this over the line.
Yeah, we're gonna get up, I think, 4 a.m. and kickstart then. But at least with the regulations being eased a little bit, we have a 5 kilometer radius, so I don't have to do 110 laps of St. Anne's.
so you're planning on set off at like 4 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of put a plan in place yesterday. Say a basic plan. Now the weather was meant to be lashing rain. It seems to have changed to that it's going to be a little bit sunnier, or at least clear. But just keep the fingers crossed for that anyway. But we have a basic plan in place. We're not sure which way we'll start. We've kind of planned out 3 routes so that we don't get bored, and then we'll kind of see what distance they are, and like if one of them matches up to what we have to do to finish off, we'll do that. But you might just see me running up and down the seafront to get it finished by the end of the day.
Yeah, well, like obviously it's going to be a great thing to finish it, like, because you're doing it for such a great cause. I'm going to make sure, guys, that we're going to put a donation link just there. It's going to be pinned on the top comment as well, so if you want to put money towards it, that'd be great. I already have. Ross hasn't yet. Very Ross, you know, he's holding out. You know.
Go out of that. Just before we do, yeah, I made Jay donate on my behalf. But just before we sort of finish up, I just want to talk just that little bit more about Pieta House, because it's actually such an amazing charity. I think everyone, one way or another, suffers with their mental health, whether you get a bit of anxiety over, your appearance, or whether, you suffer with really bad depression. That phone line is always there available to people. Pieta House Darks and Delights started off with 400 people. A man arranged to walk after his son took his own life. That now was massed on to there's hundreds of thousands of people across 5 different countries. It was an Irish started charity, and I just think it's really, really important to just note those facts and just,
Yeah, it's up to 150 locations now.
Unbelievable. And as that man says, who started it, he said, no father should have to bury his son after taking his own life. And I think that's really, really sort of touching when you see someone like that who's affected talk about it. So it really, really is a worthwhile cause. And again, people of our age are, the highest percentage of people who do take their own life. So it is very important.
Yeah. Well, Chris, I know you're going to hit 100,000. And the great thing is that Ross is then going to have to hit 101,000. But as I said earlier, make sure to check out the donation link. It's going to be pinned top comment. Chris, you're an absolute legend. And I know people that are checking this out know you're an absolute legend. You do inspire a lot of people. Like the amount of people I've told about you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But mainly the good is.
We're gonna keep loads of updates during the week as well. So obviously this week I'm gonna have to taper off the training, which will probably be one of my biggest challenges. Like me, I just like to stay busy, trying to be as efficient as possible. So actually sitting around trying to do nothing is the biggest challenge. Yeah. But I'm also going to be documenting some mobility, flexibility plans for it, how I'm going to alter my nutrition, a few little things like that. So if you're interested in anything like that, I'll be documenting all that on my story all week.
Yeah, and then we expect loads of social on the day from you as well.
Oh, I'll be updating all day. Have the power banks charged, ready to go.
Yeah, Chris, you're a legend, man.
Hopefully that Energized crew have a few podcasts I can listen to.
I've never heard of them. They're crap.
12 hours worth of podcasts.
Chris, you're listening. Everyone, make sure to follow Chris and check out his stuff, because this weekend it's going to be unreal. 100,000 steps. And then make sure you like this video if you want Ross to do 101,000. But make sure to like, share, subscribe, and as always,
stay energized.
Stay energized.